Today, we're diving into a short and honestly pretty provocative essay from Feng of Life Chen Yuan. It poses a radical challenge. What if everything you're working for, your career, your money, your entire legacy, is just fundamentally meaningless? It's a huge claim, and we're going to unpack exactly what the author's getting at.
The essay kicks off with this really unsettling question. Just think about it for a second. Everything you've ever strived for, everything you've built. Now, what if, from some higher perspective, it was all just a passing dream with no real substance? That's the core idea that pretty much frames this entire piece.
So, to really get our heads around this perspective, we have to start with the author's main belief. The whole argument, and I mean all of it, hinges on this idea that human life has one single, ultimate purpose that's supposed to override everything else. And here it is. This is the core claim from the author, Feng, and it sets the stage for everything that follows. The argument is that any life plan, no matter how detailed or ambitious, is basically broken if it doesn't include the ultimate destination. And that destination is what the essay calls heaven, a higher state of being, a different plane of existence that is the only goal. The stakes here are laid out crystal clear. The author does not mince words. Any effort, any hard work that isn't aimed at this one goal is just useless work. From this point of view, most of humanity is just living in a drunken dream, completely missing the point of it all. Okay, so if all our effort is just part of a drunken dream, then what does that say about our biggest accomplishments? This is where the author's argument gets really provocative and starts to challenge our normal ideas of what success even is.
To make this point, the essay uses a really stark analogy. Imagine a fly. From a fly's point of view, a pile of dog droppings is the greatest treasure in the world. It's everything it could ever want. The author then directly compares that to what humans chase after: billions of dollars, the power of being president, the prestige of a Nobel Prize.
And this leads to the essay's toughest question. From an eternal perspective, what is the essential difference? The argument is that if neither the fly's treasure nor the human's treasure leads to heaven, then in the grand scheme of things, they're both equally worthless. This idea gets driven home with a classic Chinese idiom. A long, full life of, say, 80 years is dismissed as a short dream of millet, which is a metaphor for a fleeting, kind of illusory vision of glory. The message is clear. Without the right destination, even a long, successful life just vanishes, like a dream. So, if life's big achievements are just an illusion, what happens to people who don't plan for heaven? Well, the essay outlines 3 specific and pretty stark consequences. According to the author, there are only 3 other options. The first is reincarnation. You just start over as a human again. The second is that you get reborn as an animal. And the third is that you wait in hell. The essay presents these as a very clear, very dire set of consequences for missing the main goal. And there's no middle ground offered here. The message is absolute. Within this framework, you are either walking step by step toward heaven, or, by default, you're on a path that leads to one of those other 3 fates. It's a completely binary choice. Now, this singular focus on heaven doesn't just redefine success, it actually tries to redefine communication and even intelligence itself. Let's take a look at how the essay judges the very words we speak. The language here is, well, intentionally blunt. The author says that any human speech, no matter how profound or eloquent it might sound, is just fart talk if it doesn't guide a person toward heaven. It's just meaningless noise. And the exact same harsh logic gets applied to the idea of wisdom. What good is being incredibly intelligent or having deep insights if you can't use it to solve what the author sees as the single most important problem, getting to your ultimate destination? From this perspective, that kind of wisdom just isn't worth praising. And this final quote from the essay really sums up the futility of it all. All the fights, the debates, the wars. What can you really win? The author compares them to fighting for the northwest wind. It's an empty, unwinnable, and ultimately pointless struggle. So we end right back where the essay started, with a challenge pointed directly at you. If you strip away the specific theology for a moment, the piece is really forcing all of us to ask a universal question. Beyond the immediate goals, career, family, happiness, what is the ultimate destination you are actually planning for? That's the question this essay from Feng of Life Chen Yuan leaves us to think about.